Thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new to my channel, I basically love to create and share content on this channel that's focused on choosing happiness, nutrition, and physical fitness. On my YouTube channel, I have a lot of different workout videos. I also have a website called whenhappinessstrikes.com where I post blogs that again are focused on tapping into your inner joy through dark and beautiful moments of life. And then I have an IG page that kind of summarizes all this content so you can follow me on a regular basis. Now for this particular video today, I wanted to share with you some experiences that I've been having while I've been along my pregnancy journey. One of the things I found very beneficial while being pregnant is finding community. And I found community in a couple of different ways, including watching other YouTube videos with individuals who share their experiences. So I thought, why not give back as well to the community by sharing mine? So again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share the content if it speaks to you or if you think someone else may be interested in it. And for this particular video, I actually have a little list of information because I want to make sure I just get right to the point. I'm going to share symptoms that I experienced during my second trimester, and then I'm going to end it by sharing what type of things pretty much served as like a treatment for some of my symptoms. All right, so for my second trimester, so this is going to start around like the 13th, 14th week, right, of pregnancy. I really felt like I had 4 primary symptoms. So the first one was hunger pain. The first one is hunger pains. I talked about this a little bit in my first trimester symptom video. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, make sure you check that out as well. But I felt it in my first trimester and it continued in my second trimester. I would say in my second trimester, it got a little bit better. But the hunger pains, I primarily felt them in the morning, and I also felt them during my sleep. And that was like the worst part, I think, was during the sleep, because we all want to be able to get good sleep. But it was definitely so bad to where it would wake me up in the middle of the night. And so that was something I recall. It was almost like a gnawing feeling in your stomach. And I remember in the morning when I felt it, I even felt it while I was eating, but I think that's just because, you know, while you're pregnant, your digestive system slows down. So it takes a minute for your system to process that you're full or that you receive food. So those are 2 times a day that I felt that symptom. I also experienced hot flashes. Oh gosh, I do remember the hot flashes. The hot flashes, I primarily had those when I woke up, and I really noticed them right after I would eat. It was almost like I was exerting so much energy while I was eating that it would end up making me feel hot. And I think they would last for about, the hot flashes, I would say anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes. It technically felt longer than that because I was just really uncomfortable and hot. It wasn't so bad to where like I was sweating, but I just felt like a heat wave, if that makes sense, kind of come over me. And I just remember running up the bill because I had the AC on high, and then I had the fans on, and I was always stripping down. It was just a lot. Now, I also recall experiencing nausea. So this is also a symptom that I had in my first trimester. In my second trimester, I would say the feeling was about the same. I had it randomly throughout the day, but I think I had it the most in the morning. Right, not necessarily right when I would get up, but I would say right when I started eating breakfast. It's just like without fail, by that moment, my body just started feeling tired and nauseated, and while I was eating, I would feel nauseous. So it was kind of hard to take down food, to be honest. Yeah. And then I also recall feeling really tired. that is just an ongoing symptom because I'm experiencing that now too sometimes. But during my second trimester, I will say my energy levels picked up towards the end, but initially, oh, I was so fatigued. Like, I think I talked about this in my first trimester video, but literally it was as simple as I'm sitting down and I'm having lunch like around 12:30, 1 o'clock. As soon as I'm done having lunch, I'm knocking out easily for like 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes it was a shorter time frame, but yeah, that was very typical. Excuse me, in the mornings, right after I would have breakfast, you know, I just talked a second ago about exerting so much energy. Well, I would eat breakfast, experience the hot flash. So I would just kind of lay there and kind of try to unlayer and turn on the fan and just get comfortable. And then by the time that happened, I knocked out. Now, usually when I fell asleep in the morning, it was just for like a shorter time frame. But in the afternoons, I was out. I was out for a couple of hours. And my body just, it's like my body couldn't, it's like, it was weird. It was just like
my body could not take anymore. It was just, I'm shutting down. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you have a coffee.
I don't care, you know, like what type of thing you try to do to keep me up. It's happening. You're shutting down. So those are like my 4 primary symptoms. Now, I want to share one interesting thing with you that I experienced in my second trimester, and it was lucid dreams. So I guess you can call this a pregnancy symptom or just an interesting experience that I've heard a lot of pregnant women have. But I had a lot of lucid dreams during my second trimester. I can't explain how vivid they were. And I just remember waking up and trying to distinguish reality from my dream. And it was a lot of sexual dreams as well in there. So I'm sure it has something to do with like all of the hormones, but that's one thing I definitely wanted to add. And then my last thing I wanted to add with the symptoms are my COVID symptoms. Ooh. So I ended up getting COVID, unfortunately, and it was around my 19th week of pregnancy. So I remember going to breakfast, and I went to a small restaurant. I purposely went early in the morning. You know, I did all the general precautions you're supposed to take with COVID when I went, and I went with like 2 other people. I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. But I would say not that same night or not that same day, but that next night is when I started having my first symptom. And my first symptom was congestion, like extreme congestion. Because while I've been pregnant, I've already had congestion, which you've probably heard is a pretty common symptom for pregnant women to have. However, this level of congestion was to the point where I felt like I needed to open my mouth while I was asleep, because I don't normally sleep with my mouth open, but that's just how congested I felt like. I felt like I couldn't really breathe properly through my nose. And initially, I thought it may have been my sinuses. I wasn't really sure. And let's see, but after I was notified from someone else that I had breakfast with that they tested positive, then that's when I was like, okay, I need to go get tested just to be safe. So I initially did a rapid test, which came back negative. And I found it peculiar because, again, I do have sinuses and I was exhibiting sinus symptoms, but I found it peculiar once, I think it was like the 3rd day from having that breakfast, that the symptoms just continued to grow. And yeah, I started experiencing new symptoms. And so then I was just like, And then I talked to a girlfriend who recently had COVID, and she told me she too took the rapid test. It came back negative, but then her symptoms got worse. And then it was so bad, it led her to the ER. And then when she was in the ER, they gave her a PCR test and it was positive. So that information right away made me think, let me go ahead and take a PCR test. So I took a PCR test and it came back positive. So at this point, some of the other symptoms I experienced were a sore throat. It wasn't for like more than, I would say like a day, but I definitely had a sore throat. My sinuses were really bad. Like I just remember, like I said, I was congested, but then like my nose was running constantly. I even remember coughing up mucus. At times it was clear, but then I think it wasn't really clear, honestly, till the end. Initially it was yellow. I had definite phlegm inside my mucus, but that is something I had a lot of, the mucus. And then I had like a low grade fever in the beginning too. That lasted just for like a day or two. And then what else did I have? Oh, I had really bad morning headaches, which I'm sure came from all the congestion and just all the sinus I felt, you know, like in my T-zone. And so, you know, at night when you're asleep, all of that just kind of drains, you know, just kind of like falls back into your head, and then you wake up and it's just like all that pressure. So yeah, but by the time, I would say by like 11 a.m. or so, by the time the morning was coming to a close, the headache would leave, thankfully. And then the last symptoms I experienced, so, excuse me, going into my second week, I was still experiencing some of the symptoms I just mentioned, but I started experiencing new symptoms, which were, excuse me, the loss of smell and the loss of taste. Oh goodness, I'm a foodie, so this was really hard for me. And actually, I haven't been much of a foodie while I've been pregnant. So what really was harder for me was just the fact that, you know, I was told initially in my pregnancy I need to consume a certain amount of calories, you know, specifically in my second and third trimester. And I noticed that just with being sick and tired, it was really hard to consume a certain amount of calories. But then now I've lost my sense of taste and smell, so I don't even want to consume any food, really. I just want to sleep. I just want to lay still and just not be bothered. But yeah, so my COVID symptoms overall weren't terrible, but I will say the loss of taste and smell, it just seemed so unnatural. And then I remember reading about some other people's experiences, and I know Google is just the wrong place to go to when you're sick, but some people's experiences documented not recovering from their loss of taste and smell, or it taking like 6 months or something. And that started to freak me out. And also the two other individuals that I went to breakfast with who also tested positive for COVID, they got their taste and smell back before I did. So they got theirs back in like a week and a half from losing it. Mine took 3 weeks. So I was just all in my head. A little bit of anxiety started creeping, because it's just like those very simple things that you typically enjoy that just go away. Like you can't smell your coffee. You can't, you know, smell your soap. You can't, you know, you want to just eat basic foods, and it's just like all you have is texture in your mouth, but you don't have any kind of taste. It's just really weird. The other main symptom, I think I mentioned this, maybe I didn't, was a cough. Now that was so annoying. Not only was it annoying because it kept me up through the night, but my cough really, really hurt. Like I remember it got so bad to the point where it was like shaking my belly. And I just felt like I was gonna cough up a lung. Like it was just really bad and really sporadic. All right, so those are all the symptoms that I had during my second trimester. I'm smiling now because I got through it, but it was a lot. Actually, it still wasn't as bad though as my first trimester. Not at all. Even with having COVID, it just did not top how I felt in my first trimester. Now, for the treatment, what did I do to combat some of these symptoms? So for the first symptoms I talked about, like the hunger pains, I really just noticed eating. Again, it sounds a little bit weird to say eating helped me feel less nauseous, but it did. And I had to eat very often. Like I noticed some people would say every 2 hours. but I had to eat like every 30 minutes, just
like nuts, yogurt, fruit, something.
And that really kind of helped keep the nausea at bay. So, okay, wait, I think I might have skipped a symptom or something, I'm not sure. Okay, so that's what I did for nausea, was the eating. But I also did that for the hunger pain. So I guess I just kind of talked about what I did to treat both of those. So yeah, so for the nausea and the hunger pains, I just ate really often. But also for the nausea, I had ginger chews, very tasty, very helpful. I had ginger everything, just ginger meat, okay? I had
the ginger drinks that you can buy from the store, I forgot what they're called. We have a lot of sugar though, so we have like one of those a day, but they're pretty big. And then I had ginger tea, which obviously is very natural. And you can kind of control how much sugar or honey or whatever you put in there. So had that.
And yeah, that was really helpful. And then for my hot flashes, oh gosh, so just always making sure I layered up so I could just take things off layer by layer, no matter where I was, whether I was in the house or out the house, was really helpful. Also drinking ice water. Pre-pregnancy, I was more of like a room temperature girl, but during pregnancy, ice water tasted like heaven. It was great. And then I also used to really like cold fruit smoothies, because not only did the fruit just taste really good, but then it just felt really good going down because it was nice and cold. So yeah. And then for the tired, well, for fatigue and feeling tired, yeah, I just gave in. I just slept. I used to fight it. I really did, until this nurse was like, look, you may feel lazy. I know you're used to getting up and just being on the go, doing a lot of things, but it's okay to slow it down. I think it was like a little bit of like, I don't know, just the productive person in me just wanting to like check off tasks and do. You are very productive, believe it or not, just by sitting down on the couch, watching TV or laying down and going to sleep, because internally you are creating an entire human being. And I really needed that. I really need to hear that so I could have that mind shift. Like, it's okay to chill out. Just chill out. So that was good to know. And I definitely just began doing that. Didn't fight anymore. Now, for my COVID symptoms. So I just want to say, I, pre-pregnancy, rarely ever got sick. Literally, I mean, I may have had a cold or flu just a few times out of my lifetime. And when I've had it, I really just let my body naturally kill it off. I would just let my immune system do what it's made to do. And thankfully that worked for me. So I kind of wanted to continue in that same vein when I got pregnant, just letting everything work out naturally. And I will say though, my doctor did tell me it was safe to take Tylenol cold or Robitussin DM or Robitussin plain. But again, I didn't take any of those. And of course you want to check with your doctor before you take those, just to see what they recommend being best for you. I did try cough drops because I also was told that was safe. They didn't do anything for me. It was just something I tried. But I would say for the different symptoms I experienced, and again, that was like the sore throat, the sinus, the cough, congestion, all that stuff. Some of the things that I found beneficial pretty much were just like your basic things that you've learned about, consuming a lot of fluids. So I just drank a lot of water as much as I could. I think that really kind of kept the mucus down, or if it did come up, it came out, which was a good thing, just to get it out my system. I feel like the water also helped me when I had the sore throat. Of course, the warm water did. And then for my, for my congestion, so like my congestion and my headaches, what I really noticed was helpful was like when I would lay down at night, just elevating my head, because of course that would prevent the mucus and all of that from draining backwards, which would eventually cause me to have the nasal drip, which would eventually cause me to cough. So elevating my head was helpful. It was a bit of a struggle, I won't lie, because sometimes, you know, when you're pregnant and you're asleep at night and you're just trying to get that position right, you just shift a lot and it's very easy to kind of like come out of that elevation. But when I did do it, it was helpful. And it also helped prevent my headaches in the morning. So yeah. What else? Oh, I took a lot of very hot showers. The steam was really helpful, breathing that in. I also heard it was helpful to breathe in. It's helpful to breathe in steam from just like boiling a pot of hot water. I didn't try it, but I heard that's helpful. What else? Just getting a lot of sleep. And oh, there was a concoction that I tried. I've had it before. One of my aunts told me about it. It basically just consists of like cayenne pepper, lemon, and honey and hot water. That really obviously helps drain your nose, and which helps with all the other symptoms I described, such as like the headache and the congestion and all that stuff. So I did do that a couple of times. And then for my other symptoms, the loss of taste and smell. So let me first add this caveat before I tell you this little concoction that I prepared. As I mentioned, lost them for 3 weeks. And at the end of the 3 week, it began to come back gradually. Now, I did have a concoction like a day and a half before I first experienced taste and smell again. However, I do not know for sure that this concoction works. So don't come for me in my comments, okay? I don't want you saying I tried it and didn't work. But shout out to my aunt in New Jersey, because she told me about this little concoction. If it didn't work, at least it was healthy. And it consisted of a lot of different herbs and spices. So basically it was oranges, limes, lemon, garlic, turmeric, onion, cinnamon sticks, mint, ginger, cloves, black pepper or cayenne pepper, and honey. I'll leave some information in my notes about that below the video. But basically I had about 2 to 3 cups of that in the evening. And then I was like a day and a half later, again, is when I had my first taste and smell come back. And it was specifically of mint, I remember. And then like the week after that, I was able to taste something else. A lot of the things I used to enjoy or they used to taste a certain way did not taste the same, I'll be honest. Some of that has changed since, but some of that hasn't. Yeah, so just want to go ahead and put that out there too. So that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I covered all of the symptoms of my second trimester of pregnancy, well, the main symptoms, and then I also covered the things that I did that helped treat those symptoms. If you are pregnant, congratulations. You are on a beautiful journey. It does get challenging at times, but it's all worth it. If you are not pregnant, but you're trying, you know, I give my wishes, my hopes, my good luck, and all the other good feels and vibes to you, because I understand it is a journey. And also, if you're not pregnant and don't plan on getting pregnant, but you were just interested in learning about this experience, I hope my video was informative. And if you feel like it was informative, feel free to share it. Like, subscribe to my channel, and you will definitely see some other interesting videos. All right, well, have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me and my little one. Take care.